Rochelle White. Of course, Rochelle White. Of course, Rochelle White. What else could you expect? It has to be Rochelle White. It's got to be Rochelle White. She is always number one. She is always the first one. Thank you for making it. Of course, Rochelle White. What else could you? She is always the first one. Okay, apart from Rochelle White, we have Omonike here. Anne-Marie, Oluwato Bidemi, Linus. Welcome, everyone. As you are coming in, please go ahead and share the message, share the link. Daniel Asenga, Adiola Disu, let's go ahead and share the link with our friends and go share publicly. Esther Shodia, bless you. Omonike, welcome. Go ahead and share the link, share the message. Demidenka Yuri, Privet, Dobrevesher, Mola Desert, Oyurabutu, Krasaf Shikmash. Oriyomi, welcome. Abimbola, welcome. I don't know who is going to be preaching to you guys today. Is it me or the dogs? Topsy Gift, welcome. Shao Smith. Mofelola, welcome. Ifeoma. Anastasia is here. Adesua. Melane. Alagbe Isaac. Fumi Adewusi is here. Dupa Love. Jake, okay. Well, if you have, oh, look who came. Magnus, it's been a long time since I've not seen you here. Ravel. Well, as you are coming in, please go look for the share button. It should be under your video somewhere there. And go share it. Once you've shared it, then we'll be ready to go. We'll be ready to go. Lola Shurumke. Okay, here we are. I've been talking this week about what truth is not. Because after I finish talking about what truth is not, I'm going to begin to talk about what truth is. And last week, I spoke about the 5 levels of truth. So I'm not going to go back to that again. If you did not see, if you were not with us last week, and you did not listen to that series on the 5 levels of truth, you have probably missed one of the most important informative messages or revolutionary messages of your age. Yeah, so, you know, we have it on the YouTube, Sunday Adelaja Official, and that's one of the series. If you go to the homepage, you'll be able to follow the series and then see that one of them is actually called the power and force of truth. The power and force of truth. But today, and this week, we've been talking about truth in general. And but I didn't start out just talking about what truth is not. I think what I first started with was, I think I started out by talking about what is truth, the power and force of truth, I think, yeah, the power and force of truth, right? And then after that, I moved on to talk about what truth is not, what truth is not. So today, what truth is not, I'm going to be mentioning a very important factor, what truth is not. What truth is not, the first thing we discovered was truth is not anything that works, or the fact that something works doesn't qualify it to be truth. So truth is not what works, because it could work today and it will not work tomorrow. So truth is not what works. And second one is that truth is not our feeling. It's not what feels good. Third one that we went through yesterday is that truth is not relative. It's not relative. Truth is not relative. So today, I'm going to be talking about the fact that truth is not just what we perceive with our senses. Truth is not only what you can perceive with your five senses. Your five senses can perceive some things about truth that could be true, but that does not prove that all truth could be perceived by the five senses. So truth goes beyond the five senses. So truth cannot just be perceived by five senses. So for example, some people will say, I don't believe in God. I say, why? He said, who gave birth to God? Or where is God? I've never seen God before. So what that kind of person is saying is that he belongs to the school of thought that you can only believe as reality what you see, or what you can touch, or what you could use your five senses to appreciate. That if you cannot appreciate and acknowledge something with your five senses, it doesn't exist. So that's a lazy man's solution. So that's a very cheap and a very artificial kind of understanding. That is very fake. It's not sound. It's not scientific. So because there are a lot of things out there that we cannot see. There are a lot of things there that you cannot use your five senses to perceive. In fact, your five senses are just too limited for the lot of God's creation. We are not just on the earth. You need your five senses for a lot of things on earth, but even on the earth, there are a lot of things that are existing that we are actually using and we are interacting with, yet we cannot see or feel. So a lot of realities, a lot of things that are out there that we cannot use our five senses to anticipate or to appreciate. So, and there is a school of thought that believe in this. It's a philosophical school of thought. It's called empiricism or empirism. Empiricism, it says that what is real is what I can feel or what I can touch. What I can touch, what I can taste, what I can smell, what I can hear, or what I can see. So those five organs, those five sexual organs are what I can see, what I can hear, what I can smell, what I can taste, or what I can hear, or what I can touch. So those are the five empirical evidences, they call them. Yes, empirical evidences. So those are the things I could use empirical evidences to prove. But that is easy. That is the easy part of life. But there are a lot of other things that benefit us that we cannot use empirical evidence as proof. So like oxygen, empirical evidence is not enough. Your five senses are not enough for that. So it's a school of thought that says, since I cannot see God, it means there is no God. Or since I cannot see truth, it means truth is like relative. It means everybody has their truth. That's what I say. Truth is subjective. So it is subjectivity. So if you cannot say it, it means there is no truth. But you cannot use that because it's just like saying, okay, since I cannot see oxygen, then oxygen doesn't exist. Then you die. Then you die. So you cannot use your five senses to judge what is true and what is not true. Because sometimes you'll be able to use them to judge what is true, but sometimes you'll not be able, they are not enough for you to discover what is true. So if empirical evidences were enough, then, how do you discover things like justice? How do you see that? How do you touch that? You cannot touch it. But justice is needed for life, in life. How do you even love? Some people say they feel love, but you are talking about eros love or all that kind of, but what about just agape love, which is universal love? How do you you express that? How do you touch that? How do you identify that? But you have to see some other things to believe that. So there are a lot of things. Even beauty, we see things that are beauty, but there are a lot of beauty, aspects of beauty that you cannot easily point out or feel or touch. So our senses are not enough to discover the truth. So number one, truth is not what works. Number two, truth is not what feels good, and truth is also not, it's not relative. It's not relative. It's not subjective. And then truth is not what we can sense with our five senses. In Colossians chapter 1, in Colossians chapter 1, verse 15 and 16, Colossians 1, 15 and 16, it says, "For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen." Now, how are they clearly seen if they are invisible? They are invisible yet clearly seen. That is a place of faith right there. So if we say that we only depend on empirical evidences, that's why people deny faith. People who believe in this are normally atheists or humanists, or people who just believe in evolution. People who believe that there is no God. So we say, but we can feel God. And we can not just feel God, but see God. They say, why do you see God? You are losing your mind. But no, it says here, since creation and of the world is invisible, his invisible attributes are clearly seen. How are they seen? How can you see something that is invisible? See something that is invisible? How? You see by faith. So there is another dimension. It's another level of life. So there is a higher level of life than just relying on our five senses. There is a higher level of life than what your physical eyes can see. So this is what we are talking about here, that you can see God by your spirit mind, by your eye of faith, by your spiritual eye, the spirit eyes. Through the faith, and by faith, we see the attributes of God that are invisible in the physical. Just like, there is a different language for different world. If we are talking about intellectual world, if you are talking about physical world, we have the body. So the body is a language for the physical world. Our body is created, and the five senses in that body are given to us to be in touch and to interact with the physical world. But those are physical world. But what about intellectual world? So there must be another language for intellectual world. You cannot use your hand and feet to fix intellectual questions. So that's why we have another language for intellectual interactions. And so for intellectual world, for the mental world, you have another language. And that language instrument for you to interact intellectually is called mind. So the mind is given to us for us to have mental discussion and intellectual interaction on that level in the intellectual world. But what about spirit world? What about in the invisible world, the spirit world? What language do we have? What is the language of the spirit? Well, just like body is the language of the material world, and the mind, intellect, is the language of the mental world, so also the language of the spirit world, of the invisible world, is faith. So that's why we see God by faith. We see God's attribute by faith, even though we don't see him physically. That's why it says the just shall live by faith. So the just lives by faith, not by what he sees. More so, the Bible tells us that the things that are visible are actually inferior to the things that are not visible. The Bible tells us that the things that are not visible are much more tangible than the things that are seen. So the fact that you don't see those things doesn't mean that they do not exist. But they exist, but they don't just exist. They are actually much more, tangible to a spirit man or a spiritual person than the things that are visible. So, and it says that the things that are visible, therefore, because they are inferior to the invisible things, therefore the things that are visible are temporal. But the things that are not visible are eternal, because they are so superior that they are not just more tangible, but they are everlasting, because they are in the spirit realm. So they are much more powerful, much more real than the physical things that we say. That, what conclusion do we come to as a result of that? The only logical conclusion from that means is that the physical world that we are seeing right now is temporary, because everything visible, everything physical is temporal. It means the old world that we are now, running after, fighting for, embracing, and ready to give our lives for is actually temporal. The earth is temporal. Life on earth is temporal. So no matter how good life you have or you dream of having, it is artificial to the real life that is to come. So the only life that is going to be eternal is the life that we don't yet see, is the invisible world that we are not seeing, the eternal world that we are not yet seeing. The spirit realm, the heavenly world, is much more real. And so the key to live eternally, therefore, is to exercise your faith, to be able to see the invisible world, and then to live from the invisible world to the visible. So when the Bible says that the just shall live by faith, that means you shall live by the invisible. That you really live in this kingdom when you live not by the things that are already present near you or in your life. It is only when you live by those things that you cannot see, that are not yet visible, that you really indeed live. For example, if I am Sunday Adelaja, Pastor Sunday Adelaja, and I have built the Embassy of God Church to be the biggest church in Europe, and then I'm living off of that and say, look at it, I have a big church here, or small church, it doesn't matter, but I have my church here, right? And I'm successful, and I'm living off of that. The truth is, I'm actually dead. Because the earth is moving around the sun. So if you are living by what is visible today, you are too late. Because that is already past, in the past tense. That is already yesterday. Anything that you are seeing right now is already too late. It's already gone. Because time doesn't wait for anybody. So for you to catch up with time, you must live in the invisible. You must live in the future. So for me right now, for example, why is it that whenever you have attained some height, you want to come? I want to use you as an illustration. Tatiana is here. Tatiana, let's say you are the one, okay, let's say you bought this cloth, right? Oh, this one. This one is a really unique one. What was it? Earring. Okay. I'm sure the first time you saw that earring, you really say, wow, what a earring is mine. Wow, I must get this. I must get it. Wow, ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, ah. Right? Or maybe the shirt. You are all excited. Then you wore it the first time, got all the compliments. Wore it the second time, got all the compliments. Then you are looking for another one. It's done.
This is how it was actually.
Huh?
This is how it was actually.
Even if you don't say that, it is still, even if that does not happen, it's going to happen. Let me use another example. Who is married here? Who is married? Evans. King Evans, come here. Your wife is here, but maybe it's not a good example since your wife is here. But you come. We are not offending Queen Anastasia, but we need some illustration. We need some illustrations nevertheless. So this is King McDonald here. Now, when you first saw that girl, your wife,
okay.
When you first saw her, you are probably thinking, wow, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, just like her when she first saw her earring. And you thought, There is no other woman, as they say, in the whole wide world. I got it. That's my wife right there. And what you will think, because of the feelings of the moment, you will think that feeling will last forevermore. That it will not even diminish ever. And that you will never quarrel with her. You will never have disagreement. And that you will always be in love the way you were before you married. That is what everybody thought. In fact, sometimes in the church here, when I'm teaching my young people and my men, and even the women, that you know what? That thing you are feeling, you will do good if it lasts for you 3 years. You are doing very well. If it lasts for 3 years, you are a record holder. For some people, it's gone after 3 months. You know what comes in after that? It's called reality. That's why people divorce. But why did they marry in the first place if they never? I tell you, they never plan to divorce. Nobody ever planned to divorce. But they don't realize that the what do you call it? Trust, the passion, and the love, that passion, that energy that you had initially when you are in love, it's just temporary. But that must be replaced by principles and decisions, determination and principles. So when the emotion will go. But so what we are saying is that the excitement that we feel because of what we have today, if you are just going to live off of that, you are not going to survive. If Mr. McDonald were to depend only on those feelings or that passion that was there in the beginning, and only was looking forward to that as the sustaining, as love, as real love, what happens then when the passion goes? What happens then when the emotions disappear? What happens then when that energy, that passion, that energy of seeing her every minute, thinking only about her, talking to her every second, you not even be able to eat, all that. Where does that go to? It has to go. Because if it doesn't go, then you will not live by faith. That you must see something invisible, something more tangible than that beautiful girl you are seeing, the body. The body doesn't keep you with a woman. You must see something more precious than that. Okay. So you must see, what keeps the marriage together after the passion has gone are the invisible qualities and attributes that you keep on going back to. So the emotion will not be there, but the attributes. Okay, for example, I said, if I lose passport, I will never marry again. If why? Because I can't just imagine trying to get all those qualities and attributes from, it's just going to be a mess for me. And I don't have enough years anymore to gather all those things that she has been able to, come up with, and all the things I see in her. Years are not enough. So those qualities now are what you live for. But when you are younger, you are thinking you are living for the emotion. But now, when you are older and you'll be married, you see the emotions disappear. There's some other content that are not visible. Even she gets older, so the body doesn't remain the same as well. The beauty doesn't remain the same. So all the physical things you thought you married for, you know what happened to them? Gone with the wind. That is why, in the real sense, nobody actually believes in empiricism. Nobody really believes in empiricism. We only all believe in truth. Because empiricism, if you just believe in that senses, feelings, I tell you, so many times you will not have feelings when you are married. The feelings will not always be there, but the understanding, the invisible qualities Those qualities that you cannot see. It's not the body, it's not the hand, it's not the breast, it's not the head, it's not the leg. But they are just invisible. Those are the things that last. So that's what the Bible says. The physical things that we see, they are gone. They don't last. So that beautiful guy, the thing you are seeing, the beautiful thing you are seeing, is gone. Just a matter of time, yeah. All things that are visible, they are temporal. It could take 2 months before it goes, or 2 years. 3 months or 3 years, but it's going to be gone. That's why when you are married, don't just marry for the visible things. Look for some invisible qualities that you can, I'm not saying not tangible, not physically visible, but in your eye of faith you can see. So those qualities that you are seeing behind the visible, behind the beauty, they are the thing that will sustain when all the beautiful qualities and everything is disappeared. So those are things that hold family together eventually. And so that saying you are living by faith anyway. The same thing with life. Thank you, Mr. McDonald. You helped me. No. I hope I didn't rock any boat. I was careful. I tried my best. Queen Anastasia, no, I didn't rock any boat. I thought I tried my best. Now, let me give you another example. The just shall live by faith. What does that mean? Okay, you want to be the example this time. Okay, good. I thought I was going to look for somebody, but it's okay. You're okay. Let's say you are having a good business right now, Tatiana, that is doing well, bringing you in maybe $100,000 a month or a year or $1 million a year. And the business is so well, it's doing well. I mean, you are satisfied. It's enough for you, right? So you are doing well. But if you are just going to be living off of that business, and you are just going to be doing that business, going through the process, and going to work every day and doing the same thing, going through the routine, soon you will discover that the excitement will disappear. The joy will be gone. You will be happy for some time, just like with the earring, the same. Because man is not meant to live by the physical. And the empirical evidences and the empirical senses that God has given unto us, they are only there for us to anticipate and appreciate our surroundings, but not to be lived by. All of us, either Christian or non-Christian, we are all supposed to live by faith, not by empirical evidences or senses. So the example is this. No matter how successful you are, even if things are going on for you, and you are just living off of that thing that's going on for you, you are already living in the past. But what does it mean that you are living in the past? Why is that bad for you? That's bad for you because you lose the excitement. Because if you're only doing and going through the routine of what you have already accomplished 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you have already done it, it means that you are not looking forward to something. And if you are not looking forward to anything, there is no hope. To live without hope is deadly by itself. And then if you are not looking forward to creating something new in the future, you are not living by faith. It means that you are living without hope, you are living without faith. And those are two of the three most important virtues in life. The three most important virtues in life are love, faith, and hope. And for you to be living for today and in the physical is to deprive yourself of 2 out of 3 most important qualities of life. And where there is no faith and there is no hope, let me tell you, there is no love also. So you are a dead living. You are a living dead. But how is it that we are meant to live, Tatiana? How are we meant to live then? You are only living, Tatiana, when having built that 1 million business and you are doing well, but the ability to see the next step, something that will come later. Nobody is seeing it out of your workers. They think you got a good business, or your relatives, everybody think, oh, she's got it made. Everything is doing well. She's got it made. But You are dying inside of you without seeing the next step. It is only when you are seeing what next after this business, or what next stage, what is the next department I must open, what is the next, customers I must get, what are the next, height I must achieve. When you are seeing that in your mind, nobody is saying it yet, but you are seeing it in your mind. That is faith. And those are the things that last. So you are actually living from the energy that is in the future that you are yet to create. It is the energy of the future that is sustaining you today. So it is those vision, that understanding, that picture that you have in your mind about the next stage of the business that you are going to build, about the next thing that is coming in your life that is propelling you. It is your motto. It is your energy. It is your fuel that is fueling your existence today. Because you are seeing tomorrow, you have the energy to live today. That is why the just lives only by the things he has not seen yet, by the things that he has not yet done, by the things that he has not yet brought to pass, by the things that he has not yet created. But he is seeing it, and because he is seeing that, he is having the energy to now get to work and be working right now today to create what he is seeing and nobody else is seeing. That is where he's bringing the energy from. So he's now creating it and bringing it into the physical manifestation, what nobody else has seen. Then he has achieved another milestone. Then after that milestone, he satisfies him for 2 or 3 years. Then it goes away again. Then you have to put another milestone in the invisible realm. That is the energy of life. Can anybody remember this? That once you saw a cloth, or a house, or a car, and it was your dream car. Have you ever heard those terms? Dream car? That's before you buy. That's before you buy. That's why they have them come in series. So, but the world might not be able to explain it. They might not be able to know the logic behind it. Even though they are saying they believe in empirical evidences, empirical differences. They don't believe in faith. They don't believe in truth. But every one of them live by truth only. And all of them live only by faith. Even though they are saying they don't believe in it. But when you study their actions, you will see that why are they doing the series? Because they are giving you another expectation. They are creating faith in the future for you. And so you are now having another desire and aspiration for the new version of it that is coming in the future. So that energy is propelling you and giving you life today. Otherwise, you are dying. When there are no expectations, when there are no hope, when there are no faith, when there are nothing you are seeing ahead, you are actually dying. You might be dead 25 years ago and you only go to your grave when you are 75, but you are already dead. Because if you are not aspiring and you are not living by the invisible, all of us will live by the invisible. I spoke to a young man here today. I spoke to a young man here today. I had a talk with a young man here today, here somewhere. And I said, I heard some rumors about you. He said, well, it's not totally a rumor. I just got engaged. It's not totally a rumor. So he got engaged. You know what engagement means? It means you found something. Because the Bible says that he that finds a good wife finds a good thing. So what does that give you? Engagement must give you energy. Because you are looking forward to form a family. That's what love does for you. So love creates anticipation in you. And that anticipation of the invisible future family that's coming up, of the invisible home and of the invisible motion of life together. So that expectation, the invisible expectation and the invisible family that's to come, the invisible common life together, is that invisible that replaces the visible. And it's those things that we live for. And that's why the invisible is, when you are engaged, it gives you some energy. That's why whenever you are in love, you have undescribable energy. Why? Because you are looking into the future. The future is fueling you today. Oh, wow. So that is the truth right there. And that is faith. Truth and faith are the same. And we all live by faith and we all live by truth, but not by senses. So it is the future, invisible future, that gives you that energy, and that is what you feel. And you say you are in love and you feel it in your senses. Oh. So the just shall live by faith means anybody that doesn't want to die. Because, for example, I spoke to Pastor Derek today, and he said, Pastor, but you are always having energy. The reason why I'm always having energy is not because I'm doing sports or I'm fit or something, but mostly is because I am always seeing something ahead of me, something invincible. I live in fact, let me tell you the truth. My wife will tell you this, and everybody that really knows me well, I don't live in today. I'm around people all the time. If you notice, I'm around people all the time, laughing and taking photographs and embracing people and joking and preaching and teaching. Like I'm talking right now. But you think I'm living for today? I'm living here now? I don't live in the today. I'm not here. I'm always living in the future. That is my secret. I never even spend a day in the today. I'm always living in the future. That's where the energy is coming from. I am getting my fuel from the invisible future, from the invisible things that I'm constantly seeing. I'm constantly coming up with some invisible reality that nobody else sees. So that is energizing me, that is fueling me and giving me the energy. So when people say, Pastor, you're always active and energetic, I am getting that energy not from what I'm doing today or what I have done now or what I'm doing now, but I'm getting that energy, that fuel from some invisible things, from some invisible information, from some invisible realities that to me is much more real than what you are talking about. In fact, I could be talking to you here today. I could be talking to you, joking and laughing and even writing books and doing things like that. But in my spirit, man, I am living in the future long time. I'm always bringing to reality and manifestation the future that nobody else is seeing yet. And that's the propeller of the energy. So if you don't have enough energy yet, that is where you get your energy from. Learn to live in the future. Right now, before I used to live 25 years in the future from where I was. So I started doing this when I was 33. So from 30 years old. From 30 years old, I started living 20 years ahead. 20 years ahead, 50. I was seeing myself in 50, when I would be 50, and I had planned all the program, and I knew exactly what step and everything. I started living this 50 when I was 30. Now that I'm 50, I am looking 300 years ahead. I'm always living the future. So people say, why are you writing? How could you write so many books? Even the topics people that I don't remember, Douglas, of the books. Because I'm looking in the future. I'm bringing them from the future. The energy is coming from the future. I'm here in Ukraine, but I'm talking about going to renovate Nigeria. But that is not, for me, going to Nigeria to bring reformation is not even future anymore. Because that is just the future in the next 10 years or 20 years. That's not even the future for me anymore. What I'm going to do when I go to Nigeria is for the sake of the 300 years that I'm saying, and 500 years that I'm saying. So I'm not even living 10 years, 20 years as mine. That is not my reality anymore. That reality, I've already passed it. So the ability to live far in the future goes beyond and is superior to empirical senses. So that is the truth. The truth is invisible, yes. The truth might not be visible to the whole world, but the truth, once it's visible to you, that truth will come to manifestation. That truth will become a reality. Some people say, Pastor, why are you not doing it in Ukraine here? Why are you not more doing church? If you keep on doing church, when you are doing church, the church was full of people, crowd, and things like that. I said, because I've already done it. It's past. That was the dream I had when I was 27. And you want me to come back there and be living for as a mega church pastor when the dream that I've already left behind 25 years ago. You want me to go back 25 years ago and live for that? I'm laying foundation and I'm living another life. A life of 200 years ago. You are going to do different things. If I stay there, I'm dying. So people might not understand what you are doing. They want you to go back to your past because they like that past with you. But they don't know that they are sending you back to death. But real life is in the invisible. So when we talk about what truth is not the empirical evidences, the empirical senses, the things that we can sense in our five senses. No, that is actually not the truth. It's not life. Life really begins. You begin to live life and true life when you live by the invisible. Any country lives like that. That is why countries have plans. They have GDP growth plan. They have gross national product growth projections. When they talk about economical projections, financial projections, that is talking about the invisible future. And when they are talking about the invisible future, they are talking about actually what the Bible says, the just shall live by faith. They are having plans for 10 years, 20 years ahead for their country, for the economy. They are actually living by the biblical reality that you only live when you live and get your energy from the future. Why are they saying, what plans do we have for the children? Why are they planning cities? Have you ever had city planning? They plan city. Oh, there will be bridge in that place in the next 10 years. Oh, there will be a road, another road in that place in the next 25 years. Oh, there will be schools in that area. If you don't live in the future like that, everything will be a mess. For example, you didn't plan for population growth. You didn't plan for school in that area. You didn't plan for other subdivision in the city. You didn't plan for hospital. You didn't plan for anything. You are just saying, but we have one hospital in that city. We have one road in the whole country. By the time the future comes, it will just overwhelm you. You are dead. The country will be dead. Everything, infrastructure will collapse. The road will not be able to cope with the cars because you didn't plan for different more roads. I mean, the schools will not be able to cope with the kids because everybody is giving birth every day and you didn't plan for it. There will be crisis. People will be, demonstrating. People will be, there will be political crisis. They will vote out the political party. They will say you are not competent. They will say you are supposed to think. Why did we elect you? Everything comes to a standstill when you live only by the physical things you can see right now. But when you live by the empirical evidences, you die. Life stops. Everything ceases to exist. You only live today and for the future because you live by the truth. The truth is not the things that we see today. The truth is not today. The truth is not the empirical things that we can touch and feel and smell and taste and all that. Because if you just rely on that, because you cannot taste the future with your tongue. You cannot touch the future with your hand. You cannot touch the future. You cannot see the future with your eyes. You cannot see the future, hear the future with your ear. All these things are invisible. That is the truth. So when you now say you come from the school of thought that the only reality are the reality of the things that you can touch and feel and sense and see, you are not telling the truth, because the reality is that you plan for your children to be born. Your wife is pregnant, or she's not even pregnant, but you got married, but you have planned for children. You plan to have children. And then your wife says, I'm pregnant, yet nothing is visible. But you don't see that child. You can't touch that child, but you know that child is there. What is that? The just shall live by faith. It is the future. That's why you even married. In fact, if you say, I don't believe in marriage, okay, that's why you slept with the lady, because you want a child. Because everybody is living by faith. Don't let anybody fool you that they are atheists, or they are atheists, or agnostic, or whatever. Nobody is an atheist at the end of the day. By the time you break it down the way I'm breaking it down now, truth is that everybody is a believer. The truth is that everybody lives by faith. And the truth is that everybody abides by the principles of God. The laws of nature are built into us. They are built into nature. They are built into life itself. You cannot break it. Because if you try to ignore the laws the laws of the kingdom, you will not live. If you try to ignore the laws, not just of nature, of the kingdom, the laws of the kingdom function by nature itself. It functions in nature, and within nature is built into every cell of your body. You cannot deny God. Nobody can really deny God, because God's laws, God's truth, God's principles, He are built in every one of us. That's the only we function by the laws of God. Okay, like for example, I said, people say we don't believe, we only believe what we see. Okay, you only believe what you see. The things that I see, they don't exist. Okay, good for you. If they don't exist, that is not the truth. I tell you that you live by the fact that there are invisible things exist. All of you live like that. That's why you marry, because you believe that things that have not existed yet, a child will come out of your relationship with your. Why? Where is that coming from? Why did you do it? Why is that concept even that there will ever be a child? Why? Where is that coming from? That's coming from faith. That is coming from expectation. That is the truth. All of us are believers. And that's why you marry, because you believed. That's why you know you have a child, because you believe. You don't see that child yet, but you believe. That's why you work, because you know they will pay you at the end of the salary, at the end of the month. You don't have that yet. That's why you plan for your future. That's why you go to school, so because you want to get a better job. That's why you. The whole future is about, the whole life, every day is living by the principles of God. By the principles of God. Thank you, Tatiana. So He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. Invisible God, we see Him. We saw Him in Christ, but Christ is no more here. So where is invisible God? We see Him by faith. For by Him all things were created, that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible. So what do we do with the invisible? You believe. You live by faith. That's the truth. So truth is not just based on things that are visible. Whether thrones or dominions, where are dominions and thrones? They are there, but nobody sees them. You say they don't exist? Well, and principalities and powers, you say they don't exist? Well, you don't see them, but they're there. All things were created through Him and for Him. So we believe, we know they are there by faith. We know God is there by faith. We know that the thrones are there by faith. We know heaven is there by faith. Because just like you know that your child is there in that child, in that wife, body, one way or the other. I read Colossians 1. I read Colossians 1, 15 to 16 right now. Colossians 1, 15 to 16. But actually, in the beginning, I was reading Romans 1:20. For since the creation of the world, His invisible attributes, things that are not seen. Invisible attributes are clearly seen. Amazing. How are they clearly seen? By faith. Invisible attributes are clearly seen by faith, just like all the examples I've given, being understood by the things that are made, even His eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. So everything seen, visible and invisible, they make God tangible and real to us. That's the truth. So truth is not based only on what things that we see. Let me give you another scripture. Then I would like to call anyone of you to come forward and tell me what you are getting from this. 2 Corinthians 4:18. That's what I've been quoting online. While we do not look at the things which are seen, we don't live by those things anymore. But at the things which are not seen. Okay? For the things which are seen are temporal. But the things which are not seen are eternal. So 5 senses, they are good, but they only are given to us to operate and relate and fellowship and interact with the earth. But apart from the physical world, that we say the body is given for the physical world. The 5 senses are given to interact and relate with the physical world, right? But apart from the physical world, we have another world, the intellectual world. The intellectual world, or the mental world, we are given intellect for that. We are given our mind to relate. That's the language. that we are given to relate, to talk with each other with intellectually. So that is another language for another word. That's another dimension, the dimension of the mind. And we use intellect for that. Then the third language is the dimension of the spirit, things that you don't see. What is the language of the dimension of the spirit? Faith. Just like you have faith that your child, that you will get married. You have faith you are going to have a child. You have faith for that. You have faith that you will go to school. When you leave home today, that you will get to your work today. You will not stop on the way. You will not. You have faith for that. That's faith. Those are invisible things. But the greatest life and the best of life is what I just told you. Learn. If you really want to live, everybody, the truth is, learn to project yourself into the future. I have learned to do that. And I started first by projecting myself into 20 years. Then I began to project myself into 25 years and built a system under it. And my life began to produce product because I began to bring product out of that future. Then after that, I started projecting myself into 100 years into the future. Now, I've projected myself and put, structure in place for the next 300 years after I'm dead. And now I'm working on 500 years into the future. Learn to make your spirit so tangible. Learn to make your spirit man so real, more real. For me, right now, my future, my spirit man, the invisible world is much more real than the physical, all of you that I'm seeing right here. My future, that invisible world, that invisible future into the 300 years is much more real than some of the things that I'm seeing with the physical eye. So learn to project your spirit man. Learn to develop your spirit man to the extent that you are so clear. You have clarity in the invisible. Learn to make your spirit big enough and sharp enough. Learn to develop the sharpness of the spirit so that the reality of the future that you are seeing will actually be much more superior to all other things that people are worried. That's why you never see me worried or fear or intimidated or ashamed or broken-hearted or concerned by anything that's wrong, because I'm not here. I live. I've traveled far. I've thrown myself into the adventure of the future. And I'm living out of there. And that is my reality. You are only seeing me here into today. But in the real sense, I've projected myself inside. I've, thrown myself far over there. That's why things that are happening here today don't bother me anymore. They don't affect me because I'm not here. My reality, my spirit man is not here. And that is the real life. The just shall live like that, shall live by faith. The faith in the future, in the invisible future that is supposed to bring to the reality of today and make them manifested. And that's where the energy for life comes from. That is the source of energy. That is the source of inspiration, and that is the source of creativity and creation as a whole. So thank you, everyone. Anybody wants to share some stories or want to tell me what you are getting? I want you people that are watching right now to share your story with me. I mean, not your story. What are you getting from this message? What do you think you are hearing? What are you getting from here? So write your story or write your feelings or write your testimonies. While you are writing that, I would like to call on people who are here. If you will not come by yourself, me, I will call you. If you are not going to call willingly, voluntarily, then I'm going to command all of you to come and stand behind me. So I'm going to count to 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3. Then all of you are going to come in. All of you come. Stand up, everybody. If you don't stand up to come right now, I'll call the security to come and come and stand. You are in trouble. It's you people who cause it. And if you will not talk by free will, I will also find a way of making you to talk. Come and stand. Come and we have to stand here at the back. At the back, yes. So HMT is beginning. In HMT, everybody has to stand if they don't act. So who is talking first?
Okay, I will start.
Okay, bend down so that they will see your face.
Yes, it's very deep to say just something about this. You know, the topic which Pastor is raising right now.
You have to speak louder. I don't hear you.
It's too deep to understand it from the
first time.
First time. Everything that we are seeing right now, for example, this chair and even Pastor, it's already gone. Sorry.
I will be gone. In the next 50 years, Pastor. I will not be here. Because, and you too, maybe. Who knows?
Yes. I mean, these people, they was in God's mind thousands of years ago.
Yes.
So He planned us. He created us already, and in His mind, we were there. Okay, so everything that we are seeing right now, it's already gone. It's already gone.
Yes.
This chair, for example, this chair or this shirt, it was real when one woman, and maybe it was a man, he started to plan. Okay, I want to create these ones. I want to do something new, or even this beautiful thing from which we were started. They was real when this woman, she making a handmade things. When she said, okay, I want to open my own business, and she actually started. This is what she's doing. So everything that we are hearing right now, and even here, now I'm talking, yes, but before
it's in the past already.
Yes, before I talked, I thought something. This is very quickly, but we don't see this. But actually, it's already past. And as you say, Pastor, righteous lives by faith. It means that if it's not by faith, it's not living at all. You are living only.
You're existing.
It's existing. This is how depression comes.
Yes.
This is how depression comes. If someone is saying that, okay, I don't know why I'm living, I'm going to this work over and over again, and
routine.
Every day, yes, routine. And if this is because he don't see the future. If you don't see the future, you're already gone. You're already dead. You're already, finished. So which is the way out? The way out is to...
You know how people deal with that?
Yes.
They begin to look for boyfriend
okay.
or girlfriend, but they don't know that it's also in the past as soon as they get it. Or if they look for money, but they don't know that as soon as they get that money, it's already in the past. Also, it stops satisfying you. The only thing that will satisfy you in life is to live for the invisible and by the invisible. It's only when you live by the future. In fact, life comes to you when you live by the future. But once you are living, okay, women fall into this trap a lot. They say, I have children. Now I'm okay. I have 2 kids. I've done what I needed to do in life. I have 3 kids. I have a husband. Then they are the most unhappy people in creation. They are frustrated. They are depressed. That's why when they go to pension, they go on pension, then they are dying. You begin to die. You only live, either you are young or not. Why are the kids who are in primary school and secondary school, why are they more happy than us? Because they have a future. They know they have to go to the primary 2, primary 3. Then after that, after secondary school, then they have to go to university. The future is what is giving them life. They are more alive because there is a future before them, and they are bringing for that future through you. They go to college, then they go to university, then they get a job, then they have that future is what is making them to have more life. But once you don't have that anymore, the future has stopped. Then you begin to die. That's why 40% of the world is in depression.
And this is what we call to live inside out. Inside out.
Yeah.
We don't. This is not a living to live from out to inside. The way to live is only this way. So you must to see. Okay, I want to achieve this one or this one. And this is why, since we are achieving, they are disappointing us. So when we get in birth, or we are getting,
you have children, then they disappoint you. Yeah.
Yes, and we get married, and next day I say, okay, what have I done? I will see this face over and over again. I had my bed all the time, you know. I could sleep like a human being, and I need. This is why.
No, somebody is Alexander Bondaruk saying, so now I can understand how does Jesus see my today's life 1,000, 2,000 years ago by this same principle.
Yes.
When he was going to die for us, he saw through the future, just like I am seeing through 300 years now.
Yes, Alex, and this is exactly why Jesus had a power to go to the cross. To decide to go to the cross, to decide to do this.
He saw the future.
This kind of steps. Excuse me. It was very hard. It was very painful. It's because he did. He felt all pain in this earth. All sicknesses, all everything, and to have energy to go to the cross. You must to see all them good.
Yeah.
All this human being, fine, doing fine. To not go to the hell. This is how he lived. And he showed us an example how to do this.
Good. Now you can sit. Who wants to sit next?
I agree with Tatiana, really, that this is so deep. You really have to digest it first to really understand, because I think most of us, we live in the present, and this
Maybe that's why you are attached to things.
that is the truth.
Because some people ask me, Julie, why is it that you are going to leave your church and go to Africa? I mean, you work for this thing all your life, but it's not my future. It's not my life anymore. It's my past. So if you are attached to things or to people, it means you are not attached to the invisible world. Some people are attached to church. Some people are attached to members. If you see the way pastors cry when their members leave, it's tragic. It's tragic. Some people are attached to their wives or husband. Why? Because they don't have a future to be attached to. Because they don't have a future, they are trying to save themselves from depression.
Yeah. So what I was thinking about was that we actually start off living for the future as children, just as you have said. And as children, we have so many dreams. You want to become this, you want to become that. We look forward to school, like you have said. But the problem or the tragic thing is really that we have society that kills those dreams. Mm-hmm. It kills the dreams, and this actually kills us. So we die, young people, thinking that all that we need are the things that are temporary, all the things that are tangible.
I need to get a husband, a wife, a car, a child, and then I will leave. Exactly. No. Exactly. You are living by thinking about the things in the future and bringing them here. That's your life. All these things will give you an illusion until you get disappointed.
Yes. And this made me think about what Jesus said when he said, you have to become like little children, if you want to enter the kingdom of God. It somehow made me think of it because, yes, there are many other things, many other lessons that you get from this verse. But I'm also thinking that as a child, to live by the future. And if he says that, it's because you become an adult and you start living by what you eat, what you drink, what you're going to wear, and all of these things. And Jesus is telling us that this is not the way to live. It is death, actually. So this really made me think about going back to becoming a child.
Now you can understand Jesus. That until you become like a child, you cannot inherit the future, the kingdom of God.
Hello, everyone on the platform.
My name is.
My name is Heidi.
Heidi Peter.
Doctor, I sincerely want to thank you for this truth that you have been exposing to us. For this truth that you have been exposing to us. And one of the things that today's message is doing in our life is to give life to to some people that society has caged them, and maybe they have given up on life, and they think that there is no more hope for their life. This broadcast this evening is to give you life and to give you hope, because the Bible says the just shall live by faith. We are the sons of God. We're supposed to bring the invincible nature of God into this earth. We're supposed to bring the invisible technologies into this earth. We're supposed to bring invisible things that is more than our physical eyes to this earth.
Yes.
That is my passion. I always say that churches are the problem of this earth, because they have not given, they have not developed, they have not equipped the sons of God to have this faith that will bring enormous energy, enormous things that are inside of us. Like our God is potential, God is truth. The truth is invalid. It is not outdated. It's always up to date every day. So every one of us, as we are the children of God, we carry this truth, and this evidence is that what is in us is greater than things that are in the world. As it is written that greater is he that is in the world.
That is in us.
Is in us than he that is in the world. So if you are maybe 40 years, maybe you think that life, you have given up on life. Abraham was 70 years old and 75 before he discovered purpose, how to live for the future. I want you to start living for the future. I want you to start living for the future, because if you don't live out for the future, you are dying. Our life, we are supposed to bring truth into the reality so that we affect this earth by kingdom principles. So HMT has begun, and it has begun for good, and for good.
You spoke about Abraham. Very good example. God created and painted the future for him. And that's why he acted and moved away from his future. If you really see in future, if you are not living in illusion, but if you are really seeing the future, you will act it out. Faith, that's why faith without works is dead. When it is really faith, you will really act. If you really believe what you are saying, there is no way you will not act. In fact, it is that faith that gives you energy to begin to do something. But if you say you are just dreaming, like motivational speakers talk, they talk about future, have a vision. You need to have a vision. Just like it's a vision, it's just an agenda. But you don't have faith in it. It's just a picture. You're just drawing pictures. You're just dreaming. You are just a dreamer. But if it is faith, we are talking about faith now. If it is faith, you have faith in that future that you are saying. It is the faith that you have that propels you, gives you so much energy that nobody will believe you. You will have obstacles. In fact, it is that faith that will make you to go against the whole world. It is that faith that will make you to go against obstacles. It is that faith that will say everybody will be stopping you, you will be fighting them. It is that faith that doesn't make you not to care for whoever is against you. It is that faith that makes you to go and fight a one-man war because you believe in the future that you are saying. If it is faith in the future, you will act.
When I was 8 years old, there is this picture that I saw. I was so young, I cannot explain to anybody. When I traveled to Belarus, the first place that I went to go and do shopping, I remember the picture I had when I was 8 years old. Those pictures was trapped by religion. Those pictures was trapped by society. Those pictures was trapped and mad by friends. Those pictures was caged by my environment. But God preserved me and took me to Belarus so that I can reconnect with my dream. I am charging every one of you. Live your life the life of the child that you used to see when you were young. You never too young. You can go back again in your spirit, man. That is why your spirit is never old. Amen. That is why God is never old. Amen. You have never old. Your spirit has never old. Go back to that little kid that you have these big dreams that you used to talk about. You talk about how you want to change the world. You talk about how you want to contribute to the society. You talk about how you want to help people. You talk about how you want to live this good life of God. You talk about so much how you want to lead people.
This is the good life. Live your future and bring it to pass.
So, Doctor, thank you for this message.
Beautiful exhortation. Beautiful work.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Anastasia.
Queen Anastasia doesn't like to talk. Immediately a message is preached. But today, because you people refuse to stand,
I don't like to talk.
She's now forced to come on and talk.
Because I'm a deep thinker and I really process things before I talk. But a couple of points or thoughts come to my mind. Number one, this is
I'm sorry, ma.
Okay.
While you people are watching and waiting to listen to Queen Anastasia, please, my request for you and to you is that please go ahead and write your own opinion. I'm going to try to read your opinions, so go ahead and write your opinion, okay? What are you experiencing? What are you hearing? And what do you think you are seeing, you are feeling, you are getting?
Okay, so number one, this is a hard teaching because you will not hear this. I've never heard this before.
But everybody talks about vision everywhere.
Yeah, but it's just vision. It's not. It has no foundation. It has no substance. So, I just want to speak to those of you who may be struggling when you hear these messages. You're not strange. You're not odd. There's nothing wrong with you if you're struggling to grasp this new concept. So, number one, they are new.
Little louder. They are saying
so
it should
they
speak
are
louder.
new. It is new. It is revolutionary, but it is concrete. That's not the first person. Number two, understand that you are in the school of righteousness. You are being trained by Daddy God, like I like to call him, or to others God. You're being trained. Your mind is being schooled in the things of the Spirit. I just want to make this point very clear. You're being trained by God. There is a paradigm shift going on in all of us. And paradigm shifts are not easy because when you're, for example, I've been trained in a certain way for 30 years to think a certain way. I've been taught in different school of thoughts, in the church. So it's not easy. So I just understand that this is the heart of the Father. Daddy God doesn't want you to live by your five senses. He doesn't want you to be the norm. He wants us to see like he sees. He wants to be seen in the future now to be like the norm. Why? So that the world can see who Daddy God is.
That's right.
So that
because Daddy God himself
yes,
is invisible.
He's invisible.
And the only way to see and interact with him is by this same faith that we are talking about.
Yes.
The same faith it takes you to see your future.
Yes.
It's the same faith it takes you to see Daddy God and talk to him and interact with him. If you cannot put this faith into operation, you cannot see God. Mm-hmm. You can have religion. Yeah. You can go to church. You can be in the choir. You can speak in tongues. Mm-hmm. But you are not having fellowship with the Father. Mm-hmm. You need this faith to even relate and interact with Father God on daily basis. Yeah. That is where a personal relationship starts. Yeah. To see the invisible. You see, in that 2 Corinthians chapter 4:18, it says, as we look, how can you look when there is not this visible? Yeah. As we look unto things which are not, but they are not seen. How can you, what do you look at? You only look when it's something to look at. When you can see them. But when you look, you have to, that takes training of your spirit man.
Yes.
So your spirit man, you look as if it's there. You look at television, you look. Mm-hmm. You look at the things that are not seen. That takes the working of the spirit man and faith. And that's how we know God. And that's why we come closer to God, by learning to look into the invisible.
Yeah, so we are being trained by God. We are having a serious paradigm shift. I don't know, for those of you out there, how long you've been a Christian, but for me, I've been trained in a certain way. And so I understand that this is the heartbeat of God. This is a heartbeat for his children. If there's anything you want to grasp, this is his cry. Because, I mean, most of us have been Christians for a long time, but where is the fruit? Where is the fruit?
Okay.
Where is it? I mean, how do people see God?
Wow, beautiful.
How do they see God? All they see is religion.
I see. Because they are only operating by the visible reality.
Yes.
Church, choir, pastor, preaching, messages. So they are not living by the invisible.
They're not.
And if you don't live by the invisible, there's nothing to bring to reality.
There's nothing.
You're only going through the motions.
There's nothing. And so this really, really means a lot to Daddy God. And I just want to encourage all of us to, to really listen to these messages time and time again. So it becomes us. I mean, I need to sit down and honestly to meditate on it, because you definitely don't get it the first time. So that's mine to do with walking by faith.
Thank you, Queen Anastasia McDonald.
Hello, everyone. This is Irene. When Pastor was speaking, what came to my mind was the reason why we are, and my sister just mentioned that as well, why we are as a church not very relevant, because we are stuck. We are kind of like in a cycle, and we are not getting the new. One of the characteristics of God is
it's new every day.
Creativity, and for us to be able to create, creativity is bringing about new things, and these new things we get them from the eternal realm. We get them from the spiritual realm.
That is right.
And if we're not
and
able
it's
to,
limitless in the spirit realm.
That's right. If we're not able to access that realm, then we are unable to bring into the now the new, and that makes us live a life that is very dull, and that's why we are very irrelevant. So this is what really came to my mind.
Well said. Well put together.
And so I'm just thinking, I'm sitting there, and as Pastor was saying, I'm thinking, I've really got to work on developing my spiritual senses. Something that God showed me once, it's just about, give you an example, about worship. Worship songs that we sing, these songs go outdated. And the Lord He showed me that these songs actually come from the spirit realm. So when you access the spirit realm, you get songs from there. Yes. And sometimes we carry on singing some songs that are completely outdated. And once I traveled to the United States, and I listened to a song that somebody wrote, and I was saying, who is singing my song? Just to realize that a song that I had accessed from the spirit realm, but because I didn't take the time to produce it and put it on a CD, the Lord gave it to somebody else. And I understood that these things come from eternity. And so if we are really going to be ahead, we've got to be living by the Spirit, not by the night.
Beautiful.
Hello, everyone. This is Lola Shoronke, and I tell you, for me, this word, I really need to take time to digest it. But I will tell you a few things ministered to me. One of them was that I needed to master developing my spirit man. And, as we are to be led by the Spirit, we also need to develop that spiritual part of us to the highest level so that we can have this communication, these truths, these knowledge revealed unto us so we can have fruits on the earth. Another curious thing to me that was pretty interesting was when Pastor Sunday mentioned that the earth goes round the sun. So we have daytime and then we have nighttime. It's like the day's gone. So that's why things get old pretty quickly. It just dawned on me that, whoa. As soon as the day's gone, it's old. Whatever
it's
happened
gone.
there
is
is
gone.
old. Never lived in that concept before. And now I choose to live that way.
Then the other thing I want to share with you is that when I talk to my husband, every day I talk to my husband, I say, Pastor Sunday is not here.
Yeah, I'm not.
Pastor Sunday is not here.
Yeah.
But the question is, but where is he?
Ah!
I said, Pastor Sunday, he's not here anymore. Pastor Sunday's not here.
I'm not.
You know, and so for me, the answer was, oh, okay, he's thinking about what he's going to do in Nigeria. But today, I found that his way isn't, he's beyond that. But I'm really, really happy that I noticed that he is really not here. Now I'm beginning to understand where we are supposed to be as Christians.
We are not supposed to be here as well.
We are supposed to be in the future all the time, day by day. And so I am absolutely excited to work on this, to develop this, to learn more of it.
It's just like me now, going to run every morning, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'm not running for today. I'm fit now, I'm okay. But I'm preparing for when I'll be 70 and 80 years old, so that the bones and the muscles will be strong enough to sustain me then.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm just I'm looking forward to really being able to exercise this, learn more about it. And I'm just excited about the fruits that will come out of exercising this. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
That is the cake McDonald's.
Indeed, the Bible says deep calleth unto deep. Because sitting there, I was just wondering, where is Dr. Sunday going with this message, But then, just like lightning, it just struck me that I have made a discovery. I don't know what the scientists are doing, but then it just struck me that I have found the cause for depression. Not only the cause, but the solution to it also. But one thing I know is, or which most pharmacists say, is antidepressants actually worsen the scenario. And I'm thinking, this is the reason for depression, and this is the solution. And I also saw a book for the solution. So I'd like to say a very big thing.
What book now?
The Cause and Solution of Depression.
Beautiful.
It just hits me, and I'm thinking, wow. People go through depression.
That's another book right there.
Exactly.
Giving birth to.
People go through depression. I've been there before. I know my cousin he's been going through depression for about 20 years or more.
And that you just saw the cause and
it just hits me that this is the reason why.
And the solution.
And the solution. So whoever you are, wherever you are, as our brother said, we have to live for the future. Because I realize of a truth, the moment you stop living for the future and you live for today, that's when depression comes in. So we thank DSA very much. We are encouraged. But then what I would say to everyone is, it's a message you need to listen to over and over again. Thank you.
I asked Gabriel for this one.
I said I spoke. You remember I said I spoke to a young man.
So
that got engaged.
Yes, I did. So my name is Philip Isaacs. Pastor Sunday, I think one of the great things that I learned today, or really reinforced, was, I have to, if I want something in the future, then I have to see it and I have to work towards it. If I allowed myself to only believe that truth is what I can see, feel, hear, touch now today, then I would never have the things that I have now. Even if it should, for example, the engagement ring, I didn't have the money, I didn't have anything, but I saw it. I saw what it looked like, and that gave me energy to go and put in extra work at a job. It gave me energy to do all kinds of things. Even today, I got off the plane, I'm jet lagged, but I saw my meeting with you today, and that gave me energy. It gave me, I got this joy. And so I can sit here and be here and not be tired, but absorb what I'm hearing. And another big thing is, you said when kids, when they're children, they have all this future in front of them. That's where they get their energy from. When I was a kid, I had so much energy, and then I grew up as a child, and I got made fun of quite a lot. And so my experiences, I was living from those experiences of being made fun of. I was living from those experiences and that low self-confidence. And I would remain in that and not look to my future. But then when I saw what was ahead,
those experiences and those attacks were actually to block you away from your future.
Yes.
And then to block you away from that energy.
Yes.
And from that reality of your tomorrow.
Exactly.
And then to fix you for today.
Yes.
And if you are fixated for today, you are fixated in the future. That's why depression and all those things.
That's exactly. And one of the things I hear when people are depressed is that they don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
They have nothing to live for. It's that they have no motivation. But I used to, live for the past. I wanted to resurrect good feelings again,
of the past,
and missing out on my future, missing out on what I could have by focusing on what's the next 5 years, what's the next 10 years. So it really reinforced that belief system. Thank you.
That is an apostle of the future right there. But this is the present day apostle. Pastor Derek is in the house.
Good to see everybody. Well, you can see me. I can't really see you. But Pastor Sunday, another incredible message. Wow. It needs to be listened to again and again. You know what I really took from this is I began to understand what endurance is. That you can only endure if you have something set in front of you to see. And it says that for the joy set before him, Jesus endured the cross. And I began to understand even your endurance. I used to fly here back and forth and say, how is he still laughing? His mood has not changed despite all circumstances changing, and he's living in another place. And I began to understand endurance requires you to see something. And I was reminded, Pastor, of a story of a people in a prison camp. And they did a study on those that died, those that didn't get out, and those that did get out. And the study was shocking because it showed that those few, very few, who actually lived to get out of that prison camp were the ones who had all one thing in common. It was that they saw their future having Christmas with family. They saw their future life, even though everything was speaking against it regarding their senses, their poverty, their pain, their slavery, their imprisonment. Everything was speaking the opposite, but they saw something. And it also brought to my mind this message, Pastor. I began to understand the great cloud of witnesses.
Yes.
These people are people who saw something. They even left and are in heaven having not obtained the full promise, but they are witnesses because they saw.
Had seen it.
That's it. They saw something. These are the great cloud. I thought they were just people cheering us on to keep going. But they're actually seers. They're people who saw the future. Thank you, Pastor.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you, sir.
Hello, family. My name is Ephraim.
Ephraim Soto.
Yes, Ephraim Soto. Well, what I got from this very powerful teaching today from Pastor Sunday is when he was talking about that he's not here, he's in 25 years ahead. While putting that principle, I'm gone now. Okay. See me now, okay? But what I would like to say is, for instance, in certain societies, people say, I did my best. And even teachers, pastors, God's servants, they teach that. You did your best, don't worry, you are fine. But if we go to Genesis chapter 1, God says, be fruitful, subdue the earth, and be fruitful and multiply, which is a very strong and powerful message that we cannot stay where we are. We have to look for the future based on what God gave us. In addition, when he developed or he revealed this vision to Abraham, it was something before beyond Abraham's life. It was for the eternity. It was not for the earth age or for the society's age. It is beyond that. And he was faithful with that, and he got it. So we have been equipped by God to fulfill his will in that sense as well. And in this case, what we have to do is not just having our vision, personal vision, beyond these 20 or 25 years is really beyond our generations, because we have children, we have kids, and we have to teach them how to think in this way, not in the way that society does, because they are really losing power, losing vision, and losing their life. But it's more important losing what God is giving us.
Yes.
That's what I got.
Brilliant.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I think that this teaching today is life's greatest secret. In so many ways. Dr. Stanley started with the senses, with the 5 senses, and how the 5 senses is not only what you know as the truth when you feel them, but went on to talk about even futuristic things, and how the things that we see and we do now no longer exist. As we're doing them, they're gone, they're dead, they're gone. And I just think that this teaching personally liberates me. It gives me so much power. It empowers me to be human, to be the best that I can be, to be God's light, God's image of God. Because even if you see somebody that you think that this is their attitude, they're this way, you can hope and you can believe, you can have faith that they can be better than what you see now, what you can see of them. So it helps relationship. And somebody has already talked about people that are in concentration camp. Not only that, it's proven medically as well that if you're ill or you have a terminal illness, those who can see the future and they can hope for the future, those are the people that survive terminal illness. So this says a lot. And it even says a lot. If you can really think and watch this again and meditate, well, maybe not meditate, but, look over it over and over again. Even some of us that goes to church for miracles, that once that miracle has happened, is dead. Even that time is in the past, is dead. So this helps you to look forward to the future, to act. For me, faith is now an action. It's not something that I think about. It's something that I know I can believe in, I can create, and it would come to pass. And it is coming to pass. I'm creating new things.
Yes.
So I'm not waiting for tomorrow. Tomorrow is now waiting for me to create tomorrow. So I'm really grateful for this. Thank you.
But you said life's greatest secret. What makes you have to substantiate that?
Yes, it is life's greatest secret. If you listen to it right from the beginning, you would understand that it starts from, yes, God is giving us the senses. You have those senses, but those senses are now tools for you to create those future. They're not there for you to just feel. One of the biggest lies that we've been told. They are
not there for you to just perceive the present.
No, it's not
for
the
present. Is the past.
Yes. So it's not for the present. It's tools for you to create those future, for you to recognize them when it comes and then create more. One of the biggest lies that we've been told is like seeing is believing. So if you go by the site where they tell you that seeing is believing, seeing is not believing. Seeing is when it's already done. It's
already in the past.
It's already gone.
Like Mrs. Shoruke said, once the day passes, it's gone.
It's gone. So it's gone. All this congregation, all the things that we go to church to do is gone as soon as we've done them. So what you need to start planning for is the future. So really, the secret is that you can start to invent now. You can start to dream. You can start to create the future. So the future is not now that you're living. Your friends are not the people that you're seeing. Your friends are the people that you would see in the future. So even though I'm seeing Dr. Sunday right now, it's the Sunday that is being created, that he's creating, living from the inside out. Even though you're seeing me now, I'm gone now.
Yes.
The next one that you're going to see is the true me, is the truth. So it's not one that is gone. It's not this last few seconds that I've been talking. I have gone. That is dead. It's the future of what you will see in the future that's me.
But what makes you to think it is the greatest?
Because if you have this understanding, this understanding, you can truly live. Yes. You can truly be who you're supposed to be. Yes. You can truly be strong. All this depression, illnesses, anything that you may have that may be negative, that you see in reality, you will not hold on to it. Even the things that you have as possession will not be important to you. Everything will be about the future. It will be about what you're creating. It wouldn't be about what you see right now. You wouldn't even be sad if somebody did something to you, because you know that there's something greater is to come. It's not what is happening right now. So that's a secret, because if you have that knowledge, how can you not live? You know?
So if I am to make a book or write a book out of this, what should it be called? Live for the future? Or live in the future?
Yeah.
Or live from the future?
The truth of the future.
Life begins in the future or something.
I have another book that is saying life starts tomorrow.
Let the future
No.
fuel you.
Huh?
Let the future fuel you.
Let the future fool you.
Who said life starts tomorrow? No, sorry.
Life starts tomorrow.
Yeah, the one about tomorrow, I think it's...
Life starts tomorrow.
Yeah, because tomorrow never comes, really.
Yeah. And that is the future.
Yeah,
life starts tomorrow. You like that?
Yes.
Then you have to write Caronis about that.
Okay.
Life starts tomorrow.
Okay. So we need to, just in conclusion for me, I think that we need to watch this again. You know, try to embed this in your life, in your living, in your soul. Because if you have this understanding, nothing would even upset you, because you know that you're creating a future. You are yourself. You are creating. Your life is not now. Everything that you're doing right now is gone, is dead. So it's what you're going to do and what you're creating to do. You know, think about God, think about the beginning. Let there be this, and those things were. You know, and like somebody said already here, that God sees the future and he creates us for the future, not for the present moment that is gone and it's dusted. It's for the future, and that's how we ought to live as well. We ought to live 200-300 years, not even now, you know. I know Dr. Sunday always says it, that he's living 300 years. And
but you are always saying you couldn't understand what that meant.
No, I couldn't understand.
Now talk to me, my girl.
Yes,
talk to me
yes.
now. Talk to me now.
Yes.
Talk to me now.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, well,
because you said it didn't make sense. That's what you were saying before. 300 years, Pastor Sonny, it doesn't make sense.
No, I always say that to him, and it's only today that I've just have yeah, never be. Yeah.
My very assistant. The very present help in future. I mean, the very present help in time of she doesn't even agree or understand what I mean by 300 years. She doesn't even believe in it. But now I was blind.
Yes, I can see.
Now I
can
see. Justina Akimboni says, it seems Pastor Sunday has poured himself to the people around him. It's like divine infection. You are a great mentor. I feel like relocating from UK to Ukraine. Yeah, but Mayowa also relocated from UK to Ukraine. And that's why, but I'm not just duplicating myself in the people here, though. If you've been following Kingdom Fruits, you will discover that people who don't live in Ukraine also have been duplicated. You know, I'm duplicating myself in them as well. Okay, Emmanuel, there is a lot in the future. Blessed ideas untapped. Thank you, Pastor Sunday. Mayowa had a Rema word today. So good. As Kate said that. Giovanni Dori said, even me, now I can see. Everybody is becoming visible. Everybody's eyes are becoming visible now. I mean, they are opening. Reverend Rosalind said, future is the ultimate. We need to understand the importance of future so that we can focus on the power of creativity and innovation. Yeah, I have that book, The Creative and Innovative Power of a Genius. There's a whole book, in that regard. So you can go get it. It's on Amazon. Apostle Robert says, life starts tomorrow. Is that what we call the book? Yeah. Tunde, no, not your life. We didn't say your. Life starts tomorrow. Tunde this said, but will that topic not only seem like procrastinating? Well, they have to read the book. That's why they have to read the book. Somebody says, Alexander von der Rook is saying, what about calling it drawing by the future? But that is for artistic people who have, yeah. I think life starts tomorrow. Busa Yomi said, the future you are yet to discover. That's too long. Life starts tomorrow. Yeah, I think life starts tomorrow is excellent. Life starts tomorrow. Okay. Okay, Jide Craig say, by the way, you are so right. DSA, we are now saying in a creation of 20 years ago, we are now saying it's a creation. Oh, what we are now saying is a creation of 20 years ago, yeah. What you are now saying, DSA, do? You know, that was finished maybe 20 years ago, yeah. 25 years ago, 20 years ago. But what I'm doing right now, it's not for today. Apostle Robert says, we are creators made in the image and likeness of the Creator. And Marie says, we have left faith thinking, the church had left the faith thinking, that's why Jesus was saying, when I come, will I still find faith on the earth? Yeah, because people will just be carried away by religion and think they are serving God. But they don't know that they actually please God, because nobody can please God. Without faith, nobody can please God. Or what did they say? Yeah? Yeah, so nobody can please God without living like this. Only people who live like this at the end of the day please God. So when God says, will I find faith? He's saying, will I still find people who will be living for the future? That's what they say. Or will you all just be living for the church activities? So the church had left faith thinking the future, I'm leaving the future to atheists, Hindus, Buddhists, Taoists to put out major discoveries. While we play church and miracles, I have been given a blueprint to faith and life by this teaching. Thank you. That's Anne-Marie. Abraham Haruna says, our greatest enemy is our last success. Yeah. Amonike, we must always live for the future. Ufoma, love your point, Mayowa. Jide Craig, this message shows that one has been living backwards. Yeah, backwards, that's a real way. By trying to stay motivated without seeing the future. Yeah, that's what motivational speakers do. They try to motivate you for some things without really making you see that future. This is clearly what leads to frustration and depression. When we can't see any longer, we have been acting so that we could see rather, as if we were seeing rather than allowing. Yeah, I can't see any further. Reverend Roslyn says, I'm on fire, not just empowered, but ready to fly and take over the arena of my assignment. Beautiful. Abraham said, the innovators are those who see the future, right? Apostle Robert, my God, how much I wish having you, how I wish I'd had you at my wedding. God makes Abraham to see the future concerning his seed. Yes, we can see beyond the visible. Monica says, I remember when I was a little girl, I used to dream of becoming a great artist, not just gospel artist. I would be in front of mirror, use newspaper as my mic, and always sing beautifully. But I was so discouraged by my background because no one wanted me to become a singer, you say. Anne-Marie, thank you, DSA, for this truth. It is sad that the church makes us think it is wrong to do meditation, dream, and do projection into the future. practicing sourcing energy from the future, people they say are demonic practices. Can you believe it? Even Jesus, because of the thing that he said before him, that's the future right there. So Jesus was practicing demonic. Come on. Come on. This is what DSA just broke down right now. How can we live in faith when we have been limited to living and thinking dogma and doctrines? Beautiful. Because it talks about faith, love, faith, and hope. This is hope. Ufoma said, yes, Pastor Derek, for the joy set before us, you see. That is Jesus. We have to be like Christ and see into the future. Julius says, yeah, Deuteronomy 1:6 says, we have dwelt too long on this mountain. Turn and take your journey. Yeah, look into the future. Don't live in the present. Tom says, all things shall pass away. All things shall become new. The future is always new. Beautiful. Princess Adetola says, I have started reading books to become a leader one day because readers are leaders. Beautiful. Oriyomi said, this message is an antidepressant indeed. Ada Love said, there is no more room for depression when you are energized for and from the future by faith. Right. Jumi said, as a consultant, 3 out of 10 people in my practice come for depression treatment. Alexander Bondaruk said, the truth is that not your past nor your present will push you to win all the battles. Yes. But the future you could see by faith will supernaturally draw you, empower you with powerful energy. Beautifully said. That is the designer for all my books. All those books you are saying, that's the designer right there, Alex. Ori Yomi said, there is hope in my future now. Yep. Oyinlola said, so true. God gives same ideas, inspiration to various people. That's concerning what Pastor Irene. If you don't do anything about it, you'll be surprised to see another person produce the fruit of it. Tom says, most of the parables of Jesus actually address the future. Wow, that's interesting. Linus says, when DSA was speaking, I was thinking, why have I been living like a biomass? I have been existing and not been living by the invisible world. I have to live from now in the future. Yeah. Most people are like that. Most people are just living like in the past and in the present. Ernest Ebong says, 8 years ago in my city, is in Germany, I was so disgusted when I saw that they started constructing a new underground train system. I was so angry because of the traffic and blockage everywhere. I was asking myself, what are these government people doing? Can't these people leave the city alone? It's good now the way it is now. It's running well. But after all, the trains and the buses are running okay, perfectly well. But after 8 years, now I'm thanking them for doing that. You see, if one believer live by faith, if I don't acknowledge it, all of us, we cannot avoid the kingdom laws. We all live by the kingdom rules. Linus, God saw by the redemption of the earth when he saw the redemption of the earth when he sent his son to the earth. He saw the invisible before he created the earth even. Beautiful. Oriyomi said, this message is a hope restorer. It has restored hope to me. Tom says, DSA is willing to go to Nigeria because it can see another Nigeria, a great future for the country. Yep. Like I said, that's like, it's not the main. That's just like the risk. Ufoma said, my encounter with DSA helped me to reconnect with my childhood dream and desire it placed in my heart. I am now reconnected to that. I am surprised also at how I could suddenly see into the future and see what I will be doing in the next 10, 20 years. Before I connected with DSA, I couldn't even see the next year. God bless you, my dear mentor. Much love. She can automatically say, because she doesn't miss any day. She's always here every day. So it's understandable. Tom says, our future is so critical. When people cannot see hope in the future, they become frustrated and depressed. Yeah. Jide Craig said, this message is stretching us to outside the box of religion. Abraham says, by faith, Abraham Haruna, by faith the elders obtained good report. You see? Even though they died, not saying it, but they got it. By faith, they got it. Dear said, now I see that it is that faith that made you to go against all odds, and you are still standing. Yep. Trees, keys, peas, music. Say, yep. Millions of reasons not to follow our painted dreams. Our only reason to follow and live through is our faith. Thank you, DSA. Jake says, I now understand why Jesus was always talking about the rich. Most of them were trusting in their riches. They were living in the past. That is profound. And when you are trusting your riches, you are left in the past. Tom says, okay, I got it now. Your energy comes from the future. Yeah. Olukayode said, in like manner, time heals when we experience a tragedy and it feels like the world has ended, but after a short while, we move on in hope for a replacement of that loss. The future comes and erases the past. Faith is the currency of heaven. Yep. Tom said, DSA is a visionary leader. His mind is so active. Well, Harmonica says, so I plan, what will I be doing in the next 10 years? In the next 10 years, will I depend on pension? No way. So I'm making efforts now to live for the future. So I'm trying very hard to detach myself from things that I used to think are important to me. That's why I now do more of my purpose, fulfill up my purpose on earth by contributing my own quota before my end comes. Linus, I haven't heard anyone in this world who is living 300 years ahead. I feel like crying that I've just started my path. Rochelle White says, wow, now I see why people turn to alcohol and drugs, because they are only living for the past, in the past. Kai P's music says, Abraham, David, and the rest of the prophets also saw this projection. the future. They could not participate in it. It does not matter anymore because they had seen it. The only thing that matters is that they documented the future that they saw and it's accurate. Simply because that's the truth. Jesus is the truth. No other way. Yep. Barack's calling says everything comes to a standstill in your life when you live by the empirical present. Yep. Tom says great nations do great things because they see the future and work ahead for it. Rochelle White says get your eyes off today and situation around you, otherwise you will never overcome it, for it's only temporal. Look to see with eyes of faith, to see books written and products produced to benefit humanity. Yeah. Jake says, I now fully understand that it is deadly to be attached to things or to put your trust in any possession. Yeah. Yemi Okwese, God bless you, richly, man of God. Great truth and the author and finisher of our faith and believe is no other person than Jesus. Yep. Linus said, this message is so important to me. I really needed it in such a time as this. Thank you. I'm inspired and fired up. Monica said, due to hearing you every day, I have decided to be planning myself ahead. Though it might not be up to 100 years yet, but at least 15 to 30 years now, I plan now. Because I am growing old every day, so I'm planning towards the future. Thanks, DSA, for the teaching. Well, you see, we are all changing. Disu Tunde Disu said, thank you, sir, for this clarity and understanding of the topic of faith. Most of the teachings on faith have been about studying the word, believe the word, confess the word, and then you will see something will happen. But this dimension of seeing and reaching into the future, in my opinion, makes walking and living by faith more tangible and attainable. Thank you, sir. Oh my God, Shioma says, I need to start living for 25 years ahead. Then I will expand it from there. That's DSA for waking us up with this teaching. Apostle Robert, thanks DSA, more grace, more truth in the name of Jesus. Becky Suyi said, thank you, sir, for this wonderful teaching. You have just made me to think more about my future. I used to think about the future, that the future will take care of itself. But now that I know I have to create it by myself. Tom said, life is about vision. The human mind is so powerful. If channeled well, it can produce great results. Linus, if you are not living by faith, you are just existing. Merlin says, wow, DSA has just dissected the truth or reality and made it so easy to understand. Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. And the day after tomorrow, or is it tomorrow? We are starting our HMT for trainers. Tuesday. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.